how the virus is being spread, because as you know, the problem with maps is on a 2D plane, right? But we live in a 3D world, right? So my job is like, how can we show the spread on a 3D platform? So I like to use spatial computing, which is maybe what a lot of people are, some of those VR goggles, and to actually show the data on a 3D platform, because maps have distortion, right? Because it's hard to show information when the information is distorted. It's, you know, on a globe, the Earth is spherical, so we need to like flatten, and that creates distortion and doesn't really. It brings biases.
But also the data embedded in the map may not be 100% accurate. In other words, it doesn't say the death rate based on X amount of people. In other words, like if you're over age 85, in other words, what the death rate is there is totally different if you're under age 50. So the thing is, when I pull the map data, I'm going, well, this is interesting, but it's not detail oriented enough to make decisions on. And so when you're looking at, like you said, a one-dimensional map, data points, you're maybe not be looking at what you need to look at to make decisions on. And that's the problem with maps. I mean, I'm not.
Well, that's what she's saying. She needs collected data.
You need collected and more and detailed
global unified data from all over the world. All the world needs to unify now.
Yeah, and you need
to unify our data in one data.
That is true. We've got to realize that populations over the world have different gene pools, and the virus may react differently.
Mm-hmm. Right. And Bill Gates predicted all this 5 years ago, but no one was listening to it. You know, which I think his video is great to look at.
And nobody's listening to him now either.
No one listens to that guy. What does he know? But we will listen to Elliot Neff. He just joined us from Seattle, I think. Are you in Seattle?
Namaste.
Yeah.
I am. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you fine. What's going on in the chess world, and what's our response to this? Because I guess first of all, it turned your world upside down in Seattle, because you were the first entry point in the United States where that's basically Kirkland, which is a very upscale neighborhood, got demolished there. And then from there on in, I guess it can't be good news. So what are you guys doing in Seattle?
Well, out in Seattle, we basically solved Seattle's traffic problem overnight.
Yes, you know, it's really bad out there.
Ellie goes to work in 5 minutes now.
From traffic solved to pollution solved. We're solving the world's problems thanks to what's in front of us. And in a way, it's the mindset we love to talk about at Chess for Life, which is in every obstacle, there's opportunity. It just depends upon what your mindset is. Do you see the problem, or do you see the opportunity in front of you? Mm-hmm. So, that's really the approach that we take.
Okay, so the thing is, you lessen the pollution, which they did in New Delhi. You got rid of the traffic, but the thing is, in your business, which is to train kids around the world how to play chess, your chess coaches can't sit with them one-on-one anymore. Okay, because as a matter of fact, all the chess tournaments in the world have been abandoned, including the World Championship in Russia, which I understand there's still people trapped in Russia, can't get out. So the thing is, So my question is, what are you doing? Because you told me you just opened up a huge new center. You had all these chess coaches, and now what? What are you guys doing? Something like?
Thankfully, once again, chess is a great vehicle for developing the thinking skills to problem solve, right? Because it's not about memorization. It's about changing dynamics every day, every move, and then iterating and making a decision, right? The first 3 moves in a chess game, there's over 9 million possible positions. 4 moves in, there's 280 billion. So you have to be able to take new information all the time and process it and drive through it. So for us at Chess for Life, going from 2,000 students every week in person with our team of coaches, 2 weeks later to 0.
That doesn't sound good.
We had to pivot just a little bit.
Yeah, no kidding.
Right.
So what'd you do?
And so what we went is we literally went the way everybody needs to go in this current phase, which is virtual. So in person, yet virtual in person now, replicating the experience from our premium classes in centers. Within the next 3 weeks, we broke through 400 students and growing. in terms of serving these students from their homes through Zoom, through different chess platforms, through our own chess platform, right? We were able to, make this happen in a matter of a couple of weeks, thanks to a really great team. And so, for example, you can see this right here. If I can share my screen, showing some of the platform where kids are learning how to play chess, right?
Yeah,
Thanks to all these different tools.
You have to press share screen, I think. I haven't worked too much with this program. I usually do go to meetings.
No worries at all. So anyway, we've iterated that, launched online, and our objective is simply to bring these benefits to kids without breaking that. When parents are stuck at home, right, and they want their kids to be focused on something so they can actually get some work done.
Yep.
What better way than to be doing something that's developing the mind and the problem-solving skills? And so we're doing that to the point that tomorrow I'm doing a live class with Broward County Public Schools, and we'll have up to 10,000 students on it. Because
no way.
We're serving a district of 220,000 students. We're doing a daily class starting tomorrow, and we're talking to other large ones.
How are you able to do that? Because the thing is, I know you can't have that many people on GoToMeeting. Are you using GoToWebinar? What service are you doing to service 10,000 people?
Currently, I'm just using the Zoom platform, which allows up to 10,000 viewers and such, and they can raise hands, ask questions. Obviously, I'm not going to answer questions from 10,000 people, but we can deliver content, and then tools and a platform allows them to go practice what they've learned and use polls and different things to provide feedback. So this is all underway, and it's just part of our mission to impact 1 million kids a week with life skills through the game.
Yeah, and you can do that all virtually. As a matter of fact, I would think you can do it virtually faster than you can do it individually, in terms of acting. And also, can't you do the chess lessons worldwide on the internet? So the thing is, like Adulagun, and he's in Lagos, Nigeria, he could actually attend the chess lesson because it could be broadcast anywhere in the world, right?
Exactly. Our market has actually opened up globally, even beyond the tools we used to provide in 14 states.
Right.
It is now to that stage where people can log in from anywhere in the world and participate with us.
Yeah.
I see is that your screen?
This is chess4life. I don't know who's sharing it. You must be sharing it.
That would be myself then. So, for example, if people know how to play, it's actually working there. And we play fun games like this where they've learned how to play, and now you build the skill of doing a checkmate. All your pieces against a lone king will show up here, right? And the goal is to checkmate that king as quickly as you can. And once you're done it, then we start adding some pieces on, and you build the skill. And you click on a piece, it shows green dots on where it can move. And these are just fun little games that are built in. Plus, as we partner with districts, we've put in place, so we've got all the different levels and included in there video training, activities, tools, and so on. So there's a platform and virtual classes from home at chess4life.com is what we're doing. So we've rapidly iterated. This morning I was talking with a school in California where low-income kids, are now stuck at home. But thanks to some resources, they're at least online. So here's another tool whereby they can be engaged with something very valuable to help them problem solve and think forward.
Right.
Personally, I feel that while the epidemic continues, the pandemic of fear may be even more dangerous. Because when fear comes in, what does that do to your body's health? What does it do to your decision making? Right? You cloud your thinking. And so I think building thinking skills like chess teaches high pressure where you have to stay calm through it. That's the kind of thing that needs to happen. And so last week was a really fun event where we gave away over 500 Chess4Life starter kits to kids stuck home.
Hey, you know what, though? I could take this course too. You don't have to be a kid. And I notice you have happy birds, not angry birds. So I kind of like your site with the happy, smart owls and, positive, right? The power of positive thinking. As Sasha would agree, you've learned so much from chess. It teaches you to focus. I think it teaches you to stay young. Every chess player I meet, especially the really dedicated chess players, seem to have such a young attitude. Maybe it's because they're not as stressed out. And I've had so many people reach out to me from your chess cult world. I guess they think I play chess too because I hang out with you guys.
Right.
So they're all like, hey, you want to play chess? And I'm like, well, I'm going to still take some classes with Elliot. And maybe Sasha is going to teach me. But, I tell them and they go, well, I want to play chess with someone. And I send them to you guys. I don't know if they've reached out to you, but, this show has really broadened our reach. And I have just heard from people from all over the world who actually play chess. It's a common language game. What I find about it, I think anybody could speak any language and sit down and play each other without having to really go into great detail if you've ever played chess. So, Elliot, congratulations on you always just have great success in pivoting. And this is awesome news because you're an entrepreneur and you got hit pretty hard and you didn't panic, you pivoted. And that's what it takes in business. And that's something that Scarlett and I talk about a lot in business. When I go down to Miami to the entrepreneurial organizations down there, or just when I speak on tour about entrepreneurship, you can't panic. You got to take what you have and pivot and make that. And you did it. And I recognize the chessboard.
Yeah. In fact, if I could, one of the things that I would, or two quick things I would share. Yeah, you pointed out the board behind me, signed by the NFL players.
Yeah, I got it.
NFL Fits Prison Service. We did that special event right before the Super Bowl. And just so you know, the last few days I've been in contact with the connections we had there in order to make sure these benefits continue with those students.
Awesome.
This time. So we're in contact there. And thank you, Scarlett, for your help with that piece too. That was amazing.
Yeah. I'm gonna give a plug for Elliot in case you guys don't know who he is. He actually was the former tied for first U.S. Open speed chess champion. So this guy plays a heck of a game and is a national master. So if you can take a lesson from a guy like Elliot, you're just like way ahead of the game because he's a fantastic player, and you can do it all online. So this way you can learn chess from a basically a former U.S. Open speed chess champion. The dude is incredibly fast, but more important, Elliot, you play blindfold chess. A lot of people don't know about this. Simultaneous. How many people can you play blindfold chess with simultaneous? How many have you done before? That means Elliot doesn't get to look at the board. He just knows where all the pieces are back there. Tell me, how many have you done simultaneous blind?
They do have to tell me where they move, though, right?
Yeah, they have to tell you where they move.
I have a student, by the way, who's a magician.
Right.
Like he was a top level magician now who could make chess pieces disappear. I don't do that. Right. But I've played 12 at a time.
Okay, right.
Wow.
Yeah. In other words, we could do that on IBM TV, but where he plays these 12 people, he doesn't see the board, but he knows where all the pieces are on.
Let's do it. Let's one day, because this show runs about 5 hours now. We're trying to get...
It's the hardest thing to do is to do simultaneous blindfold. And a lot of people, they go, are you serious? Yes, there are people that can do it. Once you get to Elliot's level, they can do it, but the average person can't track the pieces that they can see, let alone the pieces they can't see. Let alone 12 pieces they can't see. So that's how good this guy is, buddy. In case you guys don't know an IBM TV, this guy's good. He's real good.
Just a side note there. Ankit, I know, is from India. So in 2012, I played Vishy Anand, world champion in a final.
Yep.
So he played 20 people at once, and I did get a draw. It took 3.5 hours, but I got a draw against him in 2012 when he was still world champion.
So world champion, yeah. And Vishy's a good player in India. He brought up the whole community in India. Sasha has something, another chess player.
Hi, Arad. I would like to tell you that I made a draw with Anatoly Karpov when he was world champion.
Congratulations.
Wow, that is good. Yeah.
That's right.
I have one quick question to you. Please tell me how you deal with the problem of you're teaching chess. A problem of, I would call it effect instant gratification or a love of a game itself. What I mean is that, okay, let me go back a little bit. I just read Grandmaster Sesson's essay at site Chess News, and he's talking about episode when many years ago when he was still he was a champion of Poland, and he just won some major tournaments like Weekends and so on. And he just went to a neighborhood cafe, and there were a couple of players, amateurs, and they were playing game. The moment he came over, they instantly recognized him and said, "Hello, Mr. Song," and so on. And they were playing the game, and then one player won. And Sasonka said, "Well, you know that you could play such and such move in this position. Please, Mr. Sasonka, stop it. Just watch our games. Don't tell us anything what to do." So they were so obsessed with the process of playing the game, they didn't want to get any instruction, even from one of the top grandmasters of his time. And, now I just encountered that. I'm not teaching chess professionally,
Yeah.
but I love chess a lot. And a friend of mine, he has a grandson. He's 10 years old. And he asked me to help him to get him involved. I mean, he knows some moves, to get him involved in chess a little bit on a better level. So I have that our site, chessstars.com. So they registered on site, and we started to play a game. He's doing some horrible moves, like he's playing h4 in the first move, some other moves. I mean, there's no systems, there's no understanding, except he just knows how pieces move. And I was just trying very gently to suggest that, well, beside h4, you could also play e4. Maybe you should consider this move, d4. And then we have, there was only thing what I could convince him. On our site, we have a table which shows, we have it in a database about 6 million games. So it shows that after e4, we have almost 3 million games, and white wins, say 37% of the game, so many a draw, and black wins only 29% of the game. So when I put his attention into that statistics, I think I was somewhat successful in trying to prove that e4 perhaps better moves than h4. That's the only way I could handle it. What would you recommend to do in this situation?
Thank you, Sasha, for the question. And if I may address it here from a broad perspective, whether or not you know how to play chess, the challenge that I hear from the situation you described is people playing chess instead of playing chess in life. And what I mean by that is at Chess for Life, I care about the mindset. And my mindset, I believe, that helped me be a master in chess is something I intentionally strive to apply to life. So if your mindset is the game, you're very short-sighted. If your mindset is long-term, you would have immediately asked that top player, please give me insights so that I can improve. It's why what we teach is you can win, you can draw, or you can learn. There is no losing if your mindset is to learn. I would just say that the two players who said, don't tell us anything, we want to enjoy our game, were actually losing. Because in the long run, they missed out on a tremendous opportunity to get better. And so applying this thinking in life is what's critical here. You see, if in the situation like a student saying, well, this is better, this is that, you use statistics in order to show them which one was better. I would also say that the focus at Chess for Life is that I want to see 1 million kids a week develop the social emotional, the EQ, not just the IQ. The IQ will say what's the best move. The EQ will say this is how we could solve a problem. And so from that perspective, the mindset I'm pushing all the time is how are you thinking and how do you apply that to problem solving in the broad scope of things? Right here, we're talking every day, right, on the coronavirus situation. How are we solving the problem? Are we thinking short term or are we thinking truly long term? Are we making reactionary decisions or are we making well thought out solutions? To business owners, I mentioned a little bit how we have pivoted as a business owner applying the same principle. The thinking I am applying right now to Chess for Life is I do not lose sight of my overarching mission to impact 1 million kids per week. And instead, what I'm doing is I say one point is, of course, survival. You have to survive as a business or you don't fulfill it. But that's only one tiny part of the puzzle. At the same time, I'm saying it's like this tsunami that's coming, right? The tsunami of what the impact on our world. What do you do when the tsunami comes? Do you say, how do I run and hide? Or do you say, how do I take the energy of the tsunami to launch? You see, it's a little bit of a mindset. My shift here is that when we come out of this situation and we can reopen our 18,000 square feet of physical space and kids come back, I do not intend to go back to the old way of doing business. I intend to come back to the new normal, which is going to allow us to serve far more students. So at the bottom, it's a question of applying chess thinking, of being a master in chess, to life, rather than applying chess thinking only to the chessboard.
Elliot,
Julian, I have one more question for you. Yes, Asha, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. You reminded me something about the survival is very important aspect in chess. And by the way, I want to remind you a well-known story about former world champion, passed away, unfortunately, Grandmaster Tigran Petrosyan.
Yes.
Remember, he was very defensive player, very positional player. And the most interesting thing, regardless whatever position they would show him, remember the time when there were adjourned game and they could analyze. So any analysis of any position, he would start with one question: do I have a draw? And only after satisfying himself that he has to draw this and that, then he would start, only then he would start to look how to win the game. But do I have a draw? So that was his main concern, to have a draw.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to mention. But what you were
yes, Aniket.
Thank you.
So when you talk about, or when you're teaching students or kids to play chess, what should be the mindset for them to play chess? Because people might be doing something and they start playing chess, or they might be having a bad day, then they play chess, they might be in a pressure, or they might be having a lot of anxiety, or they might be having a mindset that I have to win it. So what should be the right mindset to play a chess, or maybe as a professional as well, what should be the right mindset?
So let me make sure I understand the question first. So in terms of the question, you're saying when you're playing a chess game, when you're starting out, no matter really your level, but you're talking more like starting out, what is the mindset you need to have in order to succeed?
Yeah.
Okay. So in that regard, there are 10 life lessons that I talk about, mindsets of success, in this book that I wrote called A Pawn's Journey, Transforming Lives One Move at a Time. It's about true life stories of students and the transformation of their thinking that has led to success, written into a novel. And one of these mindsets that we talk about is simply the can-do attitude. If you think you can, you probably can. If you think you can't, you're always right. It's self-defeating. And so one of the mindsets I have for students is you pair that with a mindset of win, draw, or learn. Now, what is there to lose when you have those two mindsets? The worst case scenario I recommend in life and in chess, this situation, right? What is the absolute worst case scenario for Chess4Life, my business? I go out of business, right? Well, just to the point of accepting the worst first. Then what? I restart, right? So accepted the worst. Now let's look at what we have. So in playing chess as a beginner, what is the worst that will happen on the chessboard? You will get checkmated. That's it, right?
Yeah.
Life doesn't get worse.
Elliot, you just answered I'm about to ask you, because I was actually always having a problem with playing chess. Good, and every time he challenges me to play, he knows every moves I'm about to make before I make them. So it makes chess a little bit boring for me. But I tried downloading some apps where I could actually play with computer or play with someone online. Then literally as time goes on, I discovered, like you just said, it's the very best way to go about it is win or lose, you have to learn something. The worst that could come out, if I beat you, you start all over again. And that is the best way to go about life. When you hit a rock bottom, pick yourself up. You could go even further because then you learn from the previous mistakes. I try playing him at a time. I do start with each pawn in front of me every time I start a new game. But when I take a step from the first pawn, he already knows what to do. So
Yep.
if I take a pawn forward, I know he knows what I'm going to do. Then I can decide where to go from there, from the remaining players at the back. So the only advantage, the only question I have is how easy is it to learn and understand a player's move before they take them? Because he has actually literally beaten me in all games with that.
So thank you for that question on top of what Ankit was bringing up here. Something very critical here. If you're playing someone who is so much better than yourself that you really have 0% chance of winning the game, you have a tremendous opportunity to get better and learn from them. And this, I just shared my screen again. One of the tools we built into the website was that very thing in mind. So you play all your pieces against a lone king. If this friend of yours you played and he had only a king, what are the odds of you winning? Pretty high.
Yeah, pretty high.
And see how fast you could checkmate. If that is easy, then the next one, they now get the king and one pawn. That's it. How easy is that? So you build the muscle. You see, otherwise it's like you're competing as a lightweight against the heavyweight champion.
Yeah.
He can teach you, but it's not going to be much fun. And so you have to change the scale so that you build the skill and get stronger. You see? So the other element is that whenever you play a chess game, it's really important to be able to review and learn from the game. See, so here's the history of some of the games in here at a very easy level. But what happens is, in reviewing a game, it gives you the most opportunity to improve. You see, I like to tell my students, when you play a chess game, write down your moves. I'm not playing this game here. This was a sample game in the history of this engine, right? So, but the point is, you see how the moves are recorded here?
Yeah.
Right? So what happens is a student who has a mindset of lose gets checkmated and wants to forget the pain. A student who has a mindset of learn embraces the game and goes through this and asks the opponent one key question. Can you show me what I could have done differently? And that answer to that question is how you transfer what that person knows to you. It took me from my first rated chess game in the US Chess Federation. Many people play thousands of USDF rated games and are still rated 14, 15, 1600. It took me less than 300 rated games to go from 0 to master. Not because I'm a genius. I'm not. My memory is a trained memory for chess, but I put in the effort in every single game I played to say, what could I learn from this game to incrementally improve? Mm-hmm. You see, always improve is another one of the mindsets we talk about. Think about this. Most people in chess and in life do not take the time to do 1% improvement. But if you do 1% improvement on every game you play, what's the exponential improvement you do over the course of 300 games?
Yeah, but it's like a coronavirus.
So I add one more question to what I asked earlier, that in the current corona crisis, we have 3 ways to fight with corona. First way is to attack what the Koreans and the Taiwanese and the Hong Kong people and Macau people have been doing. The second way is to wait and watch what you guys are doing in USA and maybe in Europe. Mm-hmm. And the third way is what we Indians are doing. We have stopped and locked down everything. Mm-hmm. So how you take your professional chess game, mm-hmm. Do you watch out what the other person is doing, or do you attack, or do you just hold yourself and wait for the right opportunity?
Very good, very good. Chess and life is complicated. In fact, chess is easy compared to life many times. Why? Because in chess, they have to wait for you to move. In life, they take 3 turns without asking you if they may take a turn.
No, that's true.
So in life, it is different, but the mindset, I think, is essential. So what's critical is understanding your own plan. What's also necessary is to do your best to understand other plans.
Yeah.
And you have to address both. But it's also critical that you do not react to the opponent in such a way that it derails your own strategy. Rather, how do you turn the opponent's threats and react to them only in a way that supports your strategy? Hence the response, the best defense is a counterattack. You see? And so many times what happens is fear leads to the reaction. But candidly looking at it, not hiding from the reality, and then saying, now, how does this fit in? And here's why I say that in regards to the corona COVID-19 and the response that I see. I'm no expert as a doctor. I'm not an expert in economics. I'm just a chess player who thinks and cares about making a difference in thinking. But when I look at the situation, I say, are we asking and answering the questions about the impacts and the outcomes of the cure that we are proposing? Or is the cure potentially worse than the issue itself? Have we really weighed the consequences? I hear many things about, herd immunity and getting, all these different possibilities. And then we have the shelter at home. And then what is the economic impact of perhaps increasing the level of poverty because of these economic impacts? What is the long-term outcomes to this? And I don't know that those questions have been answered very well.
Yeah. Well, we
I
did.
think most countries should just practically maybe identify essential services that might prioritize their efforts to maintain continuity of service delivery. The US is actually facing the same presently. Most of their police, who are supposed to actually maintain order, are literally being sick. And making a strategy shift ensures that the increasingly limited resources provided maximum benefits to population. They might also need to comply with the highest standards in precautions, especially in hygiene practice.
Mm-hmm.
And the provision of adequate supplies sometimes goes a long way. It helps, including personal protective equipment. And we still have to find a way to give a big thumbs up to our doctors and those people in the front lines. The militaries will go to war, come back, and we would hail them for being there, for being in the war at the first. And then these are like the practitioners are at war. The requirement to robust planning and coordinating actions between government and health facilities and their managers. For example, we all know essential services include routine vaccination, reproductive health services, including cure, care, duration, pregnancy, childbirth, care, young infants, and all. But the most important is the essential service that it includes. We have those that have issues with mental health conditions as well as non-communicable diseases. Here in my country, it's even hard to identify someone that has just symptoms for another sickness to, like, let's say HIV, tuberculosis, malaria, to someone that actually has corona. So critical therapy is most important, management. And I think we the only way we could go about it is for basic diagnosis.
We have a question from one of our viewers that as all the chess players say that by playing chess we burn around 6,000 calories. That is what they believe. So I would like to reconfirm with Dr. Saggu on our show that is it true that if we play chess we burn 6,000 calories and we don't have to go to gym rather than playing a chess?
Yeah, we'll send that one over to Dr. Sagoo. Can you avoid going to the gym and just play chess games, Dr. Sagoo?
Yeah, Ankit, it's a good question. Though we have a chess champion along with us, and what I learned from him today, what the benefit I got being on this show is that you have to change your scale to build your skill.
True.
The message which he has given us that we need to change our scale if we want to have a good skill. yes, this is a good game, and this is a mental game more than a physical game. So
Yeah.
I don't think the mental game or the mental burning of your energy, you will lose much energy, and you can lose some energy, but this cannot be a replacement for your physical activities, because during the physical activities, what you are doing, you are stretching your muscles also, and by stretching your muscles, there is a change in the neuroendocrine system of your body, and that will give you the balance of your hormones. So you can say the combination of this chess along with some sort of the physical activity would be a good balance to keep your body well.
So, Elliot, a question for you. So, can we have a test while doing the running in gym? Maybe on the running machine.
That's where
Not,
blindfold
not,
chess
not,
comes in.
no, not on the running machine, not on the running machine, but yes, we should have a combination of both the things.
No, I
At
completely
least
agree. So just in
we
viewer,
should,
that
yeah.
maybe we have other options to play chess. Maybe we have to look for different boards where we can just play chess while casually walking around.
Yeah, but my request is you have to play the real game, not the virtual game. As the chess champion is telling us that we need to play the real chess game, not on the your screen or on your computers and all.
So, Elliot, what do you want to say about it?
Sorry?
What Elliot said that was very important is looking ahead and see. The thing is, once we're all in isolation, what's the next move on the chessboard? Okay, Elliot, our leaders haven't looked ahead to the next one. Now, I have some ideas: testing, treatment, certification, and out you go, especially if these new treatments actually work. But I've heard zero from our leaders. It's like, oh, that's the next move on the chessboard, or not even discussing what the next move on the chessboard is. And so what chess does, it helps you think ahead. In other words, okay, this is move one, we're all in isolation. Move two is, oh, you mean there's another move on the board? I didn't know
All
that.
right. So I just
Chess
want to
player?
remind you, maybe our leader does not play chess.
I know our leaders don't play chess. Matter of fact, Elliot, we're going to have Senator George Lemieux on this Wednesday, who was a former U.S. senator, head of Gungster Yoakley. Now he's head of a big law firm in Florida, and we're going to ask him a little bit about chess. I told him our group has a lot of chess players. We like to think ahead, okay, but from what I've seen in the world of academia, a lot of cases they dismiss just pure mental games like chess. In other words, let's just ignore it. It's like ignoring Bill Gates. Let's ignore that guy, and he predicted this 5 years ago. Let's ignore him.
And also I want to point out that we also had a very famous NFL player on our show yesterday.
Yeah.
Tom Harris joined us. He's also a famous country western singer now, and is cutting one song after another. And his latest one is quite interesting for those who've lost a loved one in this. They should hear his song, but because it's about becoming deflated when you love someone you lose, but how you can become re-engaged with life. But so anyway, but he says the same thing. You know, in his world, and you have to become disciplined, focused, and always think ahead. When you play football, it's kind of like the chessboard, except in his life, all the men are moving at one time, beating each other up to get a ball down the road. But in many variations, all the men are stacked, and then they just go at it, and they have to move around. He said it's not, you have to think. You have to think ahead. You have to think, where's that next person going, and how can I get there, and how can I save that person, or how can I save the person, my king, So it's all about strategic. And I think this virus is, Nick, you've brought this up several times. What's our next moves? I mean, but you and I think like that. Elliot thinks everything Nick and I do, we always say this, and then we go, okay, now what are we going to do after this? Everything we do is like that. And I can't stand to have a plan and not have that next two steps. I can't. Elliot,
absolutely. So I'm going to need to sign off here shortly. Just one more quick item I would say is I love playing speed chess. When I was co-champion with the U.S. Open Speed Chess Champion, my co-champion was Hikaru Nakamura. And so we were co-champions that year. I love playing bullet chess, right? 1 minute for the whole game.
You play the whole game in 1 minute. Yep.
That's a lot of fun to me, right? It's exciting as such. But right now, today, we do not need leaders playing bullet or blitz chess. We need people playing the long game in chess.
Right.
The game where you look at the opening, the middle game, the end game, the long-term consequences, right?
Exactly.
Instead of doing the bullet reactionary moves. So strategic thinking, get out of fear, get into the mindset of understanding, and you have to see the whole board. If all you look at is one tiny sector, you may think you know the right move.
Right.
But what are you missing?
We can be trouble. We can get in trouble if we do too fast. We're in a reactive mode right now, but as we're reacting, we do need to think long term.
Yeah. But see, all chess players, as you know, Elliot, know that the quality of your game goes down as you increase the speed, and you can do 1 minute chess. The other thing they know, and you know this, you can actually train people. You can train your mind to play the whole game in 1 minute. Okay, and I used to do that, and it really impressed parents. They go, how do you train my kid to play the whole game in 1 minute? It's just the training function. You can actually do that. And then all of a sudden, they're moving fast, and the parents are going like, oh, I didn't know people could do that. I said, yeah, it's just training.
So maybe sometime we should play a bullet game on here. Like last week, I was playing with this gentleman who just donated over 500 Chess4Life starter kits to kids stuck at home so they could do chess at home. Right. And then, we did this event live online, and we played one bullet game where we played 63 moves in 60 seconds.
Right. Yeah, you play bullet.
You can do that.
Yeah, right.
We can do that with all the chess players we have on our TV show. I'm sure we can get a chess tournament going.
Yeah, you probably.
So I need to sign off.
Okay, we'll see you.
All right. For leaving so quickly. Thank you for having me on. I love listening in.
Again.
I'll see you again soon. A pleasure talking with you all.
See you, Elliot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
And we have Dr. Sagu with us again, as always. Welcome,
Yes,
Dr. Sagu.
Yeah, what are the latest developments in India?
We got to join together.
So we have a good news from India.